The roar inside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on that cold November night was something to behold. It was the sound of a story reaching its explosive climax. Conor Benn, with fire in his eyes and a legacy on his shoulders, had done it. He had defeated Chris Eubank Jr. in their monumental rematch. This was more than just a win. It was a statement. It was a redemption song played out over 12 punishing rounds. Benn's performance was nothing short of spectacular, a masterclass in controlled aggression and tactical brilliance that silenced any remaining doubters and etched his name into boxing folklore right alongside his famous father. The victory was emphatic, calculated, and deeply personal. This was not the same Conor Benn who had suffered defeat in their first encounter just 7 months prior. In that April fight, his head wasn't in the right place, a fact he openly admitted. But on November 15, 2025, a new version of the Destroyer entered the ring. He was calm, focused, and utterly ruthless. This composure was his greatest weapon. A calm Conor, as he later said, is a better Conor. He systematically broke down Eubank Jr., stalking him around the ring with relentless pressure. The ghosts of the past were not haunting him this time. They were fueling him, pushing him forward with every jab and every powerful hook he threw. The defining moments of the fight came with stunning finality. Benn sent Eubank Jr. crashing to the canvas not once, but twice. Each knockdown was a punctuation mark in a sentence that screamed of dominance. The first one shocked the packed stadium, a perfectly timed shot that sent a ripple of electricity through the crowd. The second knockdown confirmed what was becoming increasingly clear. This was Conor Benn's night. He was rewriting the script, taking control of a narrative that had been 35 years in the making. Eubank Jr., known for his granite chin and resilience, simply had no answer for the onslaught. In the end, the judges' scorecards were a mere formality, confirming the emphatic, calculated win that everyone had just witnessed. Benn's hand was raised and the stadium erupted. The victory was a validation of his skill, his heart, and his unwavering belief in himself. He had faced down his rival, exorcised the demons of his previous loss, and stepped out of his father's considerable shadow to create a legendary moment all his own. This was the night Conor Benn proved he was not just the son of a legend, but a formidable force in his own right, ready to carve out his own destiny in the sport. To truly understand the magnitude of Conor Benn's victory, you have to travel back in time. This wasn't just a fight between two men. It was the culmination of a bitter family feud that began 35 years ago. The names Benn and Eubank are royalty in British boxing, linked forever by two of the most brutal and compelling fights the sport has ever seen. In the 1990s, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. were fierce rivals who captured the nation's imagination with their raw intensity and contrasting personalities. Their battles were more than just boxing matches. They were cultural events that defined an era. Their first fight in 1990 was a savage affair, ending with a Eubank Sr. victory. But it was their second fight in 1993 that left a lingering sense of unfinished business. That bout, held in front of a massive crowd at Old Trafford, was a tactical and grueling war of attrition. After 12 hard-fought rounds, the judges declared it a controversial draw. For Nigel Benn, it was a result that never sat right. It felt like a piece of his legacy was left unresolved, a question mark hanging over his epic rivalry. That draw created a tension that simmered for decades, waiting for the next generation to reignite the flame. Fast forward to 2025, and the sons were tasked with settling their father's score. The rivalry was reborn, carrying all the weight and expectation of the past. For Conor, this fight was about more than a win-loss record. It was about family honor. It was about giving his father the closure he had been denied for over 3 decades. The pressure on his shoulders was immense, but he carried it with a quiet determination. He knew that stepping into that ring against a Eubank was not just about him, but about a legacy that stretched back to before he was even born. He was fighting for two generations of Benns. Nigel Benn's reaction after his son's victory spoke volumes. Standing in the ring, his face was a mixture of pride, relief, and pure emotion. He declared that this was his last training camp, his final chapter in the sport. For him, Conor's win had finally closed the book on the Eubank saga. His frustration with Chris Eubank Sr. was palpable, as he admitted he would likely never speak to him again. The victory wasn't just Conor's, it was Nigel's too. It was the moment a father saw his son not only achieve greatness but also heal a wound that had been open for 35 long years. Conor Benn's journey to this historic night was anything but smooth. It was a path paved with significant challenges and dark times that would have broken a lesser man. The most formidable obstacle was a 2-year doping scandal that threatened to derail his entire career. A positive test for a banned substance threw his future into question and cast a long, dark shadow over his name. He was thrust into a grueling battle outside the ring, fighting to clear his name and prove his innocence. The ordeal took a heavy toll, pushing him to his mental and emotional limits. During those difficult years, Benn spoke of the dark times he endured. The public scrutiny was intense, and the uncertainty of his future was a constant burden. It was a period of isolation and struggle, where the dream of becoming a world champion seemed to be slipping away. However, it was during this adversity that his true character was forged. He refused to be defeated by the situation. He leaned heavily on his support team, his family, and his own inner resilience to navigate the storm. He kept training, kept believing, and kept fighting for his chance to return to the sport he loved. His comeback was a testament to his perseverance. He never lost faith in himself, even when many others did. He used the experience not as an excuse, but as fuel. The struggle made him hungrier, more focused, and more determined than ever to prove his worth. Returning to the ring was a victory in itself, but Benn wanted more. He wanted to reclaim his narrative and remind the world of his capabilities. The loss to Eubank Jr. in their first fight was a setback, but it only strengthened his resolve to come back stronger and more prepared for the rematch. This context makes his victory at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium even more profound. It wasn't just a win over a rival, it was a triumph over adversity. It was the culmination of a long, arduous fight to reclaim his career and his reputation. When his hand was raised, it symbolized the end of a dark chapter and the beginning of a new, brighter one. He had walked through fire and emerged stronger, proving that resilience and self-belief can overcome even the most daunting of obstacles. This victory was his destiny, forged in the crucible of his toughest challenges. With the Eubank rivalry now settled in his favor, Conor Benn is looking firmly toward the future. His ambitions are soaring, and he has his sights set on the pinnacle of the sport, a world title. This is not just a personal goal, it's another chapter in the Benn family legacy. His promoter Eddie Hearn wasted no time in outlining the plan, making it clear that they will be pushing for a world championship fight next. Benn has earned his shot at the big time, and the boxing world is watching eagerly to see what he does next. The victory over Eubank Jr. has elevated him to a new level. Specifically, Benn has expressed a deep desire to win the WBC world title. This particular belt holds a special significance for him, as it is a title his father, Nigel Benn, once proudly held. The idea of bringing that iconic green and gold belt back into the Benn family is a powerful motivator. It would be a poetic continuation of his father's legacy, a passing of the torch that would solidify their family's place among boxing's elite dynasties. It's a dream that connects his own aspirations with the celebrated history his father created, making the quest for the title deeply personal. The path to a world title is never easy, and there are already potential opponents lining up. One name that has emerged is the formidable IBF champion, Lewis Crocker. Crocker's camp has indicated they would be open to a showdown, setting the stage for a potential blockbuster fight. A clash with a champion like Crocker would be another massive test for Benn, but it is exactly the kind of challenge he is seeking. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And Ben has shown he is not afraid to step in the ring with anyone to prove his mettle. Ultimately, Conor Benn's story is far from over. His epic revenge against Chris Eubank Jr. was not an ending, but a spectacular new beginning. It was a story of family, legacy, and the relentless pursuit of redemption. He has proven he can handle immense pressure, overcome significant adversity, and perform when the lights are brightest. Now he stands on the cusp of fulfilling his destiny. The goal is clear: to become a world champion, just like his father. The journey continues, and for Conor Benn, the future is now. The quest for that WBC title is the next chapter in this incredible sporting saga.